Good morning and a very, very, very warm welcome. Today we have Mrs. Vasundhra Rajagopal doing a lecture on the composers inspired by the mystique of Mother Tulasi. Thank you.
जगद्धात्री नमस्तुभ्यं जगद्धात्री नमस्तुभ्यं विष्णोश्च प्रियवल्लभे जगद्धात्री नमस्तुभ्यं विष्णोश्च प्रियवल्लभे यतो ब्रह्मादयो देवाः यतो ब्रह्मादयो देवाः सृष्टिस्थित्यन्तकारिणः नमस्तुलसी तुलसी नमस्तुलसी कल्याणी नमस्तुलसी कल्याणी नमो विष्णुप्रिये शुभे नमो मोक्षप्रदे देवी नमो मोक्षप्रदे देवी नमः सम्पत्प्रदायिके नमस्कारम. As already mentioned, today's topic is composers inspired by the mystique of Devi or Mother Tulasi. Now, why mystique? With all our gods and goddesses, there is some degree of mystique because we really don't know anything about them. What we know of them is only through compositions or through visual depiction in paintings like Raja Ravi Verma. We know what Mahalakshmi is believed to look like. And for us, we need to have that kind of a connect with the physical form before we can evolve to a different level of experiencing our gods and goddesses. With Mother Tulasi, there is a higher degree of mystique. That's my opinion. Only because we have many songs on Mahalakshmi, many songs on Saraswati, many songs on Durga. We know of all their attributes through our Puranas and Itihasas. We have many stories that tell us a lot of information about them. But with Mother Tulasi, there is very little information. Yet, our composers were inspired to compose and worship Mother Tulasi in various forms. For us, Mother Tulasi is the plant. And the plant is an earthly manifestation of Mahalakshmi. I'll go through how each composer has been inspired by some small information available in the Puranas or in the Itihasas. In the Itihasas, in Ramayanam and Mahabharatam, there's very little information about Mother Tulasi, to be honest with you. But Bhagavatam, there are events that have been related. And what is surprising is, not surprising, what is admirable is our composers have actually read all this and then given us these compositions. And that is what makes this a kind of a challenging legdem for me. That was what it was. Now, the first two stanzas that I sang, they were sung by sage Pundarika when he was worshipping Mother Tulasi. He says, I bow to that Devi Tulasi who bears the entire world on her head. She is the beloved of Mahavishnu. Yatho brahmadayo devaha srishtistityantakarinah. All the devas, including Brahma, get their power from her. And that is how they're able to create, sustain, and end the world. So all the power is derived from Mother Tulasi. He says, Namastulasi, I bow to that Tulasi, Kalyani. She is the one who brings goodness in life. Again, Vishnu Priya Shubhe, she brings auspiciousness and who grants prosperity and liberation. Now, today what I plan on doing is going back to the Puranas and seeing where Mother Tulasi has been glorified. And from there, we'll see how the composers have almost made parallel compositions. We'll start with the Padma Puranam. There is an incident in this in which Prahlada narrates a story about Siva Peruman talking to his son Kartikeyan. And what Siva Peruman says is he is explaining to Kartikeyan how Mother Tulasi came to be on this earth. It goes back to the churning of the ocean, the Samudra Mathanam. We all are aware of that event, but I will not go into the details of that event, but the prize was the pot of nectar. When the pot of nectar was brought out, Mahavishnu, who was there, shed tears of joy, says Shiva Peruman to Kartikeyan. 3 of the tears drops fell into the spot of nectar. The first drop came out as Mahalakshmi. The second drop came out as Kaustubham. And the third drop came out as a beautiful goddess. A beautiful goddess who smelled fragrant. And upon seeing these 3, Mahavishnu, it seems, wanted all 3 for himself. So he took Mahalakshmi, placed her on his chest. He took the Kaustubham and he wore it on his chest. It is the divine gem. But with Mother Tulasi, he was so taken up with her that he wanted to wear her all over his body. Not just his chest. He wanted her all over his body. And it is this that Tyagaraja Swami reflects in his Kedara Gaula song. Uramuna Mukha Muna. This is the Kedara Gaula song, Tulasi Bilva. Uramuna Mukha Muna Shiramuna Bhujamuna. Uramuna, he wore her on his chest. Mukhamuna, he put her on his face. Shiramuna, Bhujamuna, he wore her on his head, he wore her on his shoulders. Uramuna Mukha Muna Shiramuna Bhujamuna Karamuna Netra Muna Charana Yugam Muna. So he wore her on his chest, his face, his head, his shoulders, his hands, and he put her on his eyes, and then he put her on his feet. Tyagaraja Swami has taken this inspiration from the Padma Puranam story that Siva Peruman related to Kartikeyan, and he says when he is worshipping Rama, he says, Rama, as you wanted, I am offering tulasi leaves on your chest. I'm offering tulasi leaves on your face, on your head, on your shoulders, on your hands, and at your feet. Directly he has been influenced and inspired by this event in the Padma Puranam. Tulasi bilva maldekadi jalaja suma pu jala kai konave tulasi मल्लिकादि जलज सोम पू जल कई कोनवे तुलसी, bilva, mallika and lotus. Now there is a significance to this sequence also. Why? When Mahavishnu saw Tulasi, he made yet another promise to her. He gave her another boon. He said, you will be the first thing that is offered to me. I will not be happy if any of the other flowers are first offered to me and then you are offered to me. So you have to be the first that is being offered to me. And so Tyagaraja Swami is following that tenet also. He's saying first Tulasi, then Bilva, then Jasmine and then Lotus. And there is another song also in Maya Malavagala, which we all know, again which follows the same sequence. Now Tulasi, Bilva and neem leaves, these are the three sacred leaves. Tulasi for Perumal, Bilvam for Siva Peruman, and Deviki we use neem. Even in the temples, in the Vaishnava temples particularly, Tulasi is first offered. Tulasi is offered in Tirupati Kovil also. Tulasi Mala is first offered to Perumal before any of the other flowers and garlands are offered. Now in the Maya Malavagala song, which we all know, same sequence is followed. Here he says, I worship you Rama with the tender leaves of Tulasi. Tulasi Dalamulache. He is using the tender leaves of Tulasi to worship Rama. Tulasi Dalamulache Santoshamuga Pujintu Tulasi Dalamulache Santoshamuga Pujintu Tulasi Dala Mulache Santoshamuga Pujintu Tulasi Dala Mulache Santoshamuga Santoshamuga. With great joy he says, I worship you with these tender leaves of Tulasi. Sarasi Ruha Punaga, Sarasi Ruha Punaga, Sarasi Ruha Punaga, Sarasi Ruha Punaga, Champaka Patala Kuravaka, Sarasi Ruha Punaga, Champaka Patala Kuravaka, Karavira Mallika, Sugandha Raja Sumamul, Karavira Mallika, Sugandha Raja Sumamul, Dharanivi Vokaparyayamo, Dharanivi Vokaparyayamo, Dharanivi Vokaparyayamo, Dharmatmuni Saketa Puravasuni Shri Ramuni Saketa Puravasuni Shri Ramuni Varatyagarajadutuni Tulasi Dalamulache Santoshamuga. Sarasi Ruha Punnaga Champaka Kuravaka Mallika. All these flowers have to be offered only after Tulasi. This is that second song in which he has referred and brought out this from the Padma Purana. Now, Tyagaraja Swami has composed 6 songs on Tulasi Devi. All of them glorifying Tulasi as either the plant form. For us, Tulasi the plant, Tulasi the Devi are one and the same. Either glorifying her in the plant form or as a goddess. He has imagined her and he has described how he has envisioned her appearance. And we'll see that in other compositions. Now, the other composer who has composed many songs on Tulasi Devi is Purandaradasa. He is said to have composed 23 songs on Tulasi Devi. He is considered an incarnation of Narada Muni and also the Pitamaha for our music. 23 songs, and his inspiration is again drawn from the Puranas. He has drawn inspiration from the Skanda Puranam and the Naradiya Puranam. In the Skanda Puranam it says, by touching Tulasi, this is referring to the Tulasi plant, by touching Tulasi one's body becomes purified. By praying to Tulasi Devi, all diseases go away. By offering water to Tulasi, fear of death is gone. And the Naradiya Puranam says, by chanting her name, by chanting the name of Tulasi Devi and Sri Hari, by meditating on her, you become free of sin. And how beautifully he has brought it out in this composition, we'll see now. Vrindavanave mandiravagini indire Shri Tulasi. Vrindavanave mandiravagini indire Shri Tulasi. Namma Nandana Mukundage Priya Vada. Namma Nandana Mukundage Priya Vada Chandada Shri Tulasi. Vrindavanave mandiravagini indire Shri Tulasi. Namma Nandana Mukundage Priya Vada Chandada Shri Tulasi. Chandada Shri Tulasi, our beautiful Tulasi Devi, Namma Nandana Mukundage Priyavada. She is the beloved of our Nanda's son Mukunda, who is none other than Krishna. Vrindavanave Mandiravagini, that Krishna who is so fond of our beautiful Tulasi resides in Vrindavanam. Brinda is another name for Tulasi. So Vrindavanam means a vanam or a forest where there are lots of Tulasi plants. And because he is so fond of her, he resides in the Vrindavanam. And because he resides in the Vrindavanam has become a temple. Vrindavanave Mandiravagini Indire Shri Tulasi Namma Nandana Mukundage Priyavada Chendada Shri Tulasi. Look at his imagination. He has brought out the fact, the sanctity of Vrindavanam by association of Krishna with Tulasi. And in the Charanam, he refers to the Skanda Puranam verse. ತುಳಸಿ ವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಹರಿನಿಹನೆಂಬುದು ಶ್ರುತಿ ಸರುತಿದೆ ಕೇಳಿ ತುಳಸಿ ತುಳಸಿ ವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಹರಿನಿಹನೆಂಬುದು ಶ್ರುತಿ ಸರುತಿದೆ ಕೇಳಿ ತುಳಸಿ ತುಳಸಿ ದರ್ಶನದಿಂದ ದುರಿತಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ತುಳಸಿ ದರ್ಶನದಿಂದ ದುರಿತಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಹರಿತು ಹೋಗುವುದು ಕೇಳಿ ತುಳಸಿ ಸ್ಪರ್ಶನದಿಂದ ದೇಹ ಪವನವೆಂದು ತುಳಸಿ ಸ್ಪರ್ಶನದಿಂದ ದೇಹ ಪವನವೆಂದು ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ತಿಳಿದು ಕೇಳಿ ತುಳಸಿ ಸ್ಮರಣೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಸಕಲಿಸ್ತ್ವ ಬೇಡೇಡು ಸುಖದಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಬಲಿ ತುಳಸಿ ಸ್ಮರಣೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಸಕಲಿಸ್ತ್ವ ಬೇಡೇಡು ಸುಖದಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಬಲಿ ವೃಂದಾವನವೇ ಮಂದಿರವಾಗಿನಿ ಇಂದಿರೇ ಶ್ರೀ ತುಳಸಿ. What he's saying is, ತುಳಸಿ ವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಹರಿನಿಹನೆಂಬುದು ಶ್ರುತಿ ಸರುತಿದೆ ಕೇಳಿ ತುಳಸಿ. Shruti, the Vedas say that Hari stays, he resides in Tulasi Vanam or Vrindavanam. ತುಳಸಿ ದರ್ಶನದಿಂದ ದುರಿತಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಹರಿತು ಹೋಗುವುದು ಕೇಳಿ. You just see Tulasi. That's all you have to do. All your miseries and sins will vanish. ತುಳಸಿ ಸ್ಪರ್ಶನದಿಂದ ದೇಹ ಪವನವೆಂದು. ಸ್ಪರ್ಶನಂ, to feel, to touch. Your body becomes sanctified. ತುಳಸಿ ಸ್ಮರಣೆ ಮಾಡಿ. Meditate on her. Think of her. Chant her name. ಸಕಲಸ್ತ್ವ ಬೇಡೇಡು ಸುಖದಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಬಲಿ. You just chant her name, you meditate on her, you get all happiness and all your desires are fulfilled and all your sins vanish. This has been, again, you know, for us, we will not go back to the Puranas to read any of these things. Our composers have made it so easy for us. In simple language, they've given us the essence of what Puranas have written on Devi Tulasi and brought it to us in simple song form. Now we know that Tulasi, like all other gods and goddesses, is transcendental. She is a little bit more transcendental because we have no idea what she looks like. The degree of familiarity that we have with other gods and goddesses is much higher. So what happens is we don't know whether she is dusky complexioned or golden complexioned. We don't know any of these details. And for us, it would help to have some kind of a mental picture of her. Tyagaraja Swami has envisioned how she looks, and he's described that. And slowly, by the end, we'll be able to have a composite image of Tulasi in our minds. He has envisioned through his divine vision. They are all divine births. All our composers are divine births. They have been divinely ordained to come on earth and show us the right way. And this is another very popular song. నీ మృదు తనువునుగని నీ పరిమళమునుగని నీ మహత్వమునుగని నీరజాక్షి నీ మృదు తనువునుగని. When Mahavishnu saw Tulasi Devi as she emerged from the pot of nectar, it seems he saw her soft form. Ni parimalamonu-gani. He smelled her divine fragrance. Ni mahattvamonu-gani. He knew of her greatness. Nirajakshi. He saw her lotus-shaped eyes. So now we get some kind of an idea as to what Devi Tulasi looks like. Ni mridu tanuvonugani, ni parimalamonu-gani, ni mahattvamonu-gani, ni rajakshi. Tamarasadalane-tru Tyagarajuनि mitru. Tamarasadalane-tru Tyagarajuni mitru. Premato shiramunanu pettukonadata. Premato shiramunanu pettukonadata. He saw this beautiful divine form emerging from the pot of nectar. He saw the soft form. He saw her beautiful eyes. He smelled her divine fragrance, and he knew she was greatness personified. So he wanted her for himself. Tamarasadala-netru Tyagarajo-nimitru. That lotus-eyed Rama, who is a friend of Tyagaraja, ప్రేమతో శిరమునను పెట్టుకొన్నాడట. With total love he took her and he wore her on his head. Going back to the first song in the Padma Puranam, which referred to the Padma Puranam, where he wanted her all over his body, Tyagaraja Swami says Rama took her and put her on his head, because Rama, Krishna, Mahavishnu, all one and the same. Ammaravahuma Tulasoma Nannu palimpa vama Satatamu padamule Nammina Nahuma Ammaravahuma Tulasoma Nannu palimpa vama Satatamu padamule Nammina Nahuma Ammaravahuma. Nevmadini niha parambulo sagudu vanuchu. Nevmadini niha parambulo sagudu vanuchu. Kaumavil tunitanshi kalanaina vayadata. Ammaravahuma Tulasoma Nannu palimpa vama Satatamo padamule Nammina Nahuma Ammaravahuma. Ammaravamma Tulasamma Nannu palimpavamma, come to protect me. Satatamu padamule nammina namma. I have full faith in your feet. And then he says, in this life and in the next life, you are the only one that will give me comfort. And so much so that Rama himself doesn't want to be separated from you. He wants to have you even in his dreams. That is how fond Bhagavan is of Tulasi Devi. Now there is another song, another Kriti by Tyagaraja Swami. It's a rarer song. Here he gives us more details about how she looks. Tulasama ma inta 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 nelakonnavama Shri tulasama ma inta nelakonnavama Shri tulasama. Oh mother, please come to my house, pleads Tyagaraja Swami. Ye mahini ni samanamevaru ye mahini ni samanamevaru ye mahini ni samanamevaru ye mahini ni samanamevaru ma bangaru bomma ma bangaru bomma. He's told us what complexion, what her color of her complexion is. Mahavishnu, Rama, Krishna are all dusky skinned. Mahalakshmi is golden complexioned. Ma bangaru bomma, he says, please come to my house, please come. Ma bangaru bomma Shri tulasama ma inta nelakonnavama. Now we get to even more beautiful description of Tulasi Devi. Karagu suvarnapu somulu peti Karagu suvarnapu somulu peti Karagu suvarnapu somulu peti Sariga chiramudu koreyaga kate Karagu suvarnapu somulu peti Sariga chiramudu koreyaga kate Karuna jooji sirulanu wadi kati 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 Varaduni karamunanu pati Varaduni karamunanu pati Shri tulasama ma inta nelakonnavama. Ma Bangaruvamma, please come to my house, he says. And how does he imagine she is coming to his house? Karagu suvarnapu sommulu peti. Suvarnapu, Swarnam. She is adorned with gold ornaments, it seems. The golden complexioned Tulasi Devi comes to see Tyagaraja at his house with gold ornaments. Sariga chire muddu kuriyaga katti. She's wearing a beautiful sari with gold trimmed lace. Look at that imagination. And you can see how much he adores worshipping her by just his description of her. Karagu suvarnapu sommulu peti sariga chire muddu kuriyaga katti. Karuna joochi sirulanu vadi katti. Karuna joochi sirulanu vadi katti. She has tied something to the end of her sari, he says. She has tied prosperity to the end of her sari. And Karuna Juchi, out of utter compassion for us, she has come to our house. She has come to give us all this prosperity. Golden complexioned Tulasi Devi, wearing gold ornaments, wearing a beautiful sari with gold lace trimmings, with prosperity tied to the end of her sari, which she is going to give out of compassion for her devotees. She's not coming alone though. Varaduni karamunanu patti. She's holding the hand of Mahavishnu and coming. Varaduni karamunanu patti Shri Tulasam Mayinta. How beautifully and vividly he has described Mother Tulasi. Now we all have a mental picture of Mother Tulasi in our minds. If Tyagaraja has composed so many songs on Mother Tulasi, it follows to reason that Papanasam Sivan would not be far behind. He is the Tamil Tyagaya. His compositions and style are greatly influenced by Tyagaraja Swami. And in this song, you will see how he has mirrored what Tyagaraja Swami has expressed. Paradevataye karunai seivaye paradevataye karunai seivaye paradevataye karunai seivaye paradevataye karunai seivaye parama Pavani Tulasi Taye Paradevataye Karune Sevaye Parama Pavani Tulasi Taye Paradevataye Karune Sevaye Parama Pavani Tulasi Taye Paradevataye Karune Sevaye Varaguna Jahale Mangala Mule Varaguna Jahale Mangala Mule Varaguna Jale Mangala Mule Varaguna Jale Mangala மங்களமூலே பாலே எமை பரிபாலி சுஷீலே பாலே எமை பரிபாலி சுஷீலே பாலே எமை பரிபாலி சுஷீலே பரதேவதையே கருணை செய்வாயே கமழ் மணமும் உனது மெல்லிய மேனி கமழ் மணமும் உனது மெல்லிய மேனி கண்டு முகுந்தன் உனை சீரம் ஏற்கொண்டான். How beautifully he has expressed what Tyagaraja Swami has already expressed there. He says, Kamal Manamum, your beautiful divine fragrance, Unadu Melliya Meni, Kandu, Mukundan Siram Kondan. And what has Tyagaraja Swami sung? Ni mridutanu vonugani, ni parimala monugani. கமழ் மணமும் உனது மெல்லிய மேனி கண்டு முகுந்தன் உனை சீரம் ஏற்கொண்டான். நீ மிருது தனு போனுகனி நீ பரிமள மோனுகனி. And then what does he sing? ప్రేమతో శిరమునను పెట్టుకోనాడట. Beautifully captured the expressions of Tyagaraja in this Tamil Kirtana in Chakravaham. There is one more event that Papanasam Sivan refers to, and this we will see Tyagaraja Swami has also sung about this. This is an event that takes place in Dwaraka, and we are all familiar with this story. I'll just quickly recap it. Narada Muni goes to Dwaraka to visit Krishna. Satyabhama, Rukmini are both there also. Now there is a purpose for this visit. Satyabhama receives him with Krishna and she asks him what she can get for him. He just says, I don't want anything much, just get me something very small, but something that is very dear to you, very precious to you. The only condition is it should be equal to the weight of Krishna. So, Krishna is made to sit on the scale, and Satyabhama was always considered as somewhat arrogant, somewhat proud of her beauty, of her wealth, of her closeness to Krishna, of her thinking she was the favorite queen of Krishna, of always thinking that Krishna loved her the most amongst all the queens. So the purpose of Narada Muni's visit was to knock her down a peg or two. So Satyabhama is very happy. She knows she can do it. She thinks she can do it. So Krishna is made to sit on the scale, and she goes and brings all her jewelry, all the gems that she possesses, all the gold that she possesses, all her wealth, everything that she considers precious is placed on the other side of the scale. But that is still staying on the top. It is coming nowhere near equal to Krishna's weight. Finally, she realizes that this is a lesson for her, and she concedes defeat. Then Narada Muni asks Rukmini Devi to bring her prized possession and put it on top of Satyabhama's itself. Rukmini Devi is absolutely devoted to Sri Krishna. Her devotion cannot be questioned. And she is the personification of humility. What does she do? She brings one leaf of tulasi and puts it on top of the pile of jewelry that Satyabhama has kept there. With that one leaf, the scale comes down and becomes equal. And that is what Papanasam Sivan has sung in this also. Kamarmanamum unadu melliya meni kandu mukundan unai siram yer kondan amalai unnale Satyabhamai munnale amalai unnale Satyabhamai munnale amalai unnale Satyabhamai munnale amalai unnale Satyabhamai munnale gannal Rukmini paldayam vendraள் அன்னாள் Rukmini paldayam vendraள் அன்னாள் Rukmini paldayam vendraள் பரதேவதையே கருணை செய்வாயே பரம பாவனி துளசி தாயே பரதேவதையே கருணை செய்வாயே அமலை உன்னாலே சத்யபாமை முன்னாலே அன்னாள் ருக்மிணி பந்தயம் வென்றாள். This is what he is referred to in this song. We see the power of a single leaf of tulasi. That single leaf of tulasi was enough to tip the scale. According to Ayurveda texts written by so many people like Sushruta, Charaka, Agnivesha and others, not only is tulasi one of the most potent and powerful medicinal plants. It is used for colds, coughs, chest infections, other infections, has antiseptic properties, thirst quenching properties. It is supposedly one of the best thirst quenchers. It also is beneficial for the mind and spirit. And that is the reason it is called a sacred herb. Now, in the olden days, temples used to be kept open all the time. The premises, the temple compound was open. Why? This was so the travelers and pilgrims who were going from village to village, either on foot or by bullock cart, could use this place to rest, to eat their meals, to quench their thirst, and then proceed. They used to come by walk or by bullock cart. And within the temple compound and outside the temple compound also, there were a number of tulasi plants. The tulasi leaves used to be offered to the deity. They were also available to the travelers to quench their thirst. And such is the purity of tulasi that it is powerful even when it is dried. That is why you will find that in temples, while the other flowers and other garlands are removed the next day because they are wilted, the tulasi mala will always stay there for a few days even if it is dried. This is said in the Padma Purana. That is the potency of tulasi. Now, even when we offer Naivedyam to the Lord, it is sanctified by a leaf of tulasi. it has to be sanctified with the leaf of tulasi. And when water is offered to the Lord, it has to have a leaf of tulasi in it. Tyagaraja Swami says, without you, Mother Tulasi, water offered to the Lord remains water. It doesn't become tirtham or prasadam. That is the power of the tulasi leaf. And there is another song in Maya Malavagaula by Tyagaraja Swami, where he says this very thing. He says, without you, water remains water. It doesn't become sanctified and become tirtham. Nibuleka Shankaruma Ramanulu Nirajadulu Vallarata Nibuleka Shankaruma Ramanulu Nirajadulu Vallarata Nibuleka Tirthamu Sevinchuta Niranu Chunu Perayenata Nibuleka Tirthamu Sevinchuta Neevu leka tirthamu sevinchuta neeranuchunu perayenata. Without you, the water is not tirtham. Neevu leka Shankaru ma Ramanulu neerajadulu vollarata. He says, even Bhagavan, ma Ramanulu, Bhagavan and Shankara, they will not accept the lotus without having been offered the tulasi first. Nivuleka Trasuna Shri Hari Sari Nilvaka Poyena Ata Nivuleka Trasuna Shri Hari Sari Nilvaka Poyenata. That scale would not have become equal if it were it not for you. So this is the song from which Papanasam Sivan also has got his inspiration, where Tyagaraja Swami refers to Nivuleka Trasuna Shri Hari Sari Nilvaka Poyena Ata Nivuleka Vana Malayani Pali Kira Nivuleka Vana Malayani Pali Kira Nisari Yauvare Tyaga Rajanuta Shri Tulasoma. Says, Mother Tulasi, this is the time for you to come and protect me. Please come, brochutaku. Neevu leka trasuna Shri Hari Sari Nilvaka Poyenata. That Bhagavatam incident has been recalled here. And in the last line he says, Neevu leka Vanamalayani Palikira. Who can call the mala Vanamala if you are not there? If Tulasi is not there, it is not Vanamala. If Tulasi is not there, it is only a mala. And this Vanamala is the Tulasi that Bhagavan Krishna loves the most. If you see what happens in many of the Kirtanas, even composers who have not composed on Devi Tulasi herself, they use the word Vanamala. Vanamala and Vanamali for Krishna. So if you go to Jayadeva's Gita Govindam, you will find the use of the word Vanamali very frequently as referring to Krishna. Vanamali, Krishna, the one who loves wearing the Vanamala. Anila tarala kuvalaya nayane anila tarala kuvalaya nayane tapati nasa kisalaya shayane tapati nasa kisalaya shayane yaramita vanamalina sakhi yaramita Vanamalina. And in many of the Ashtapatis, you will have this word being used to refer to Krishna. As an earthly manifestation of Mahalakshmi, Tulasi is highly revered in the Alvar's Pasurams. Alvars have not glorified Tulasi Devi as a goddess. But her association with Yemperuman has been referred to in many Pasurams. And how Yemperuman's glory gets magnified because of the Tulasi. Tolinai melum Tolinai melum Nanmarbin melum Tolinai melum Nanmarbin melum Chudarmudi melum Chudarmudi melum Talinai melum Tolinai melum Nanmarbin melum Chudarmudi melum Talinai melum Punainda Tannam Thurai Udai Auman Thurai Udai Auman Kelinai Ondrum Iladan Kilarum Chudar Voli Murti Chudar Voli Murti Nalanaiந்து ஒன்றும் அகலான் என்னுடை நாவின் உளானே Nammalvar is saying in his Tiruvaimuzi that தோள் இணை மேலும் He's worn Tulasi on his shoulders. Nanmarbin melum, Chudarmudi melum, Talinai melum. And wearing Tulasi Devi all over his body, Tulasi வந்து துழாய்னு தமிழ்ல துழாய் மாலைனா துளசி மாலை. புனைந்த தன் துழாய் உடை அம்மான். My Bhagavan, who is wearing the tulasi on all these parts of his body, his radiance is unbelievable, but that itself becomes double because he is wearing tulasi mala. So with that kind of radiance, he is coming to be merged with me. Yennudai naavin ulane, he comes into me. That is the sanctity of Tulasi Devi, that he says even Bhagavan, even Emperuman gets more radiance because of his wearing the Tulasi. Now we all know of Meera. She is another person who was born on this earth, the epitome of devotion to Krishna. And for her, that is all that mattered. She was born into a very wealthy family, married into royalty. But for her, it was only Krishna. She is not able to attain Krishna. What does she do now? Chunari ke kiye tuk wodleni loyi. Chunari ke kiye tuk wodleni loyi. Moti monge butare vanamala poi. Moti monge butare vanamala poi. Mere to giridhar gopal. Chunari ke kiye tuk. Tuk means she threw it away. Chunari, her clothes, her costly silks. Because she was royalty, she had the costliest of clothes. Chunari ke kiye tuk, she threw it away. Odaleni loyi, loyi is saffron. She wore the saffron garb of a sannyasin. Chunari ke kiye tuk odaleni loyi. Moti monge utare. Moti monge utare. She took off her pearls, her jewelry. She took them all off. Vanamala poi. Vanamala. She wore the Tulasi mala. Why did she wear the Tulasi mala? She has been waiting to be merged with Krishna. It hasn't happened. Finally, she leaves the palace and she goes towards Dwaraka. But she threw away all her costly clothes and jewelry and she wore the saffron garb of a sannyasin. And then she wore the Tulasi mala because she knew Tulasi mala is Krishna's favorite. At least now when he sees her wearing the Vanamala, he will accept her. Such is the significance of Tulasi. Now, we come to Tulasi Das. It's easy to think that Tulasi Das was the name given to him because he was a dasa of Tulasi. But that is not the case. He was born chanting the name of Rama. So his parents kept the name Ram Bola. And then, of course, it was found that his stars or his horoscope was not good for his father or something, and then they disowned. There's another story there. But he was accepted by a guru, Narahari Das. And knowing the divinity of this child, he kept him with him. And then he also performed the sacred thread ceremony for him. And it is at during this sacred thread ceremony that he gave him the name Tulasi Das. The reason being, he was a devotee of Rama, the same way Tulasi was an ardent devotee of Krishna. His degree of respect and love and devotion to Rama was the same as Tulasi Devi's devotion to Krishna, and so he got the name Tulasi Das. And of course, he wrote the Ramcharitmanas in Varanasi and all that. There is Varanasi, there is Tulasi Manas Mandir also. But there is no mandir or temple for Tulasi Devi, except a small temple outside Mathura, Vrindakund. There is a Tulasi temple. And ISKCON temples also have some statues of Tulasi Devi, though they also worship the plant. Now, in the Ramcharitmanas, there is very little reference to Tulasi. But there is a verse which metaphorically compares Tulasi Das to the Tulasi plant. It says, in Varanasi, there is a wandering Tulasi plant. That wandering Tulasi plant in Varanasi is Tulsi Das, whose branches are the verses he sings, and the bees that hover around the Tulasi plant are represented by the Ramanama. What a beautiful way to correlate this. Ananda kanana kaschid jangama tulasi taruhu. Ananda kanana kaschid jangama tulasi taru. Kavita manjari yasya. Kavita manjari yasya. Rama Brahmara Bhushita, Rama Brahmara Bhushita. This wandering Tulasi plant, the branches are the Kavita Manjari Yasya Rama. The name of the chanting of Rama is the Brahmara Bhushita, the bees that adorn this plant. And then we have references to Tulasi, of course, even in Muthuswami Dikshitar's Chetashri Balakrishnan Bhajare, he sings Nava Tulasi Vanamalam and Alola Tulasi Vanamala Bhushana, Bhadrachala Ramdas. So we will find reference to this, to Tulasi, and also the significance of Tulasi is brought out in many kirtanas and songs. But now let us go to the different names of Tulasi. In the Padma Puranam, there is the Ashtanamastava, where there are 8 names given for Tulasi Devi. We know of Brinda, we know of Tulasi. Tulasi means Tula, the scale, there is no equal to her. Vrindavani because she never leaves Vrindavan. Vishwa Pujita, the whole world worships her. Nandini, she gives happiness to one and all. Krishna Jivani, the life and soul of Krishna. And Vishwa Pavani, one who sanctifies the whole world. We talked about one story from the Padma Puranam where the origin or how she came into being was described by Sivaperuman to Kartikeyan. There are other stories. What was she before she became Tulasi? In the Devi Bhagavatam, Shiva Puranam and Padma Puranam, there are other stories which talk about her previous janma. There will be minor variations in the different Puranas, but the broad story stays the same. There was a king by the name Vrishadhwajan. Now, Vrishadhwajan had a son, and both were ardent devotees of Sivaperuman. So devoted that the king decreed that no other god or goddess would be worshipped in that kingdom. Everyone had to worship only Sivaperuman. What happened as a result of this? All the other Devis and Devatas left the kingdom. Mahalakshmi was the first to leave. All the other gods and goddesses left. Varuna Bhagavan left. There was no rain. There was famine. People were impoverished. People didn't have enough to eat. The whole kingdom suffered. But Vrishadhwajan wouldn't relent. Soon Vrishadhwajan died. His son also died. But he had two grandsons, Dharmadhwajan and Kushadhwajan. Now, when they became kings of this kingdom, they realized that it was because they did not have Mahalakshmi's grace that all this has happened. So both of them set out to do ardent penance to please Mahalakshmi. And pleased with their devotion, she came to them and blessed them. And she said, I will take care of your kingdom. I will give you two children, two girls. One to Dharmadhwajan, one to Kushadhwajan. I'll be born as those two girls. I myself will incarnate as in your kingdom as these two children. So Dharmadhwajan named his daughter Vedavati, who later in another Janma became Sita. Kushadhwajan named his daughter Brinda. So that is the first name that she got. She was Brinda. Now these two young children, they are personification of Mahalakshmi, and from the time they were very young, they were ardent devotees of Mahavishnu. They wanted to attain Mahavishnu. Both these girls went into the forest and did tapasya. Now again Mahavishnu came to them and pleased with their tapasya, he said, I will accept Vedavati as my wife, but I cannot accept Brinda as my wife, because Brinda has a curse on her that she has to be married to an Asuran first. So Brinda came back to the palace. Soon enough she was married off, and she was married to an Asura king called Shankachuda. Now Shankachuda, being an Asuran, was true to his nature, evil personified, killed everybody, captured all the kingdoms. But Brinda, being Mahalakshmi, she was totally devoted to him, pure in thought, chaste. She was, just for her, Shankachuda was God. And it is believed that this purity and chastity was like an armor for Shankachuda, so nobody could kill him. And nobody could kill him, so he became more and more atrocious. The people started worrying that there was nobody to save them. They went to Sivaperuman. He said, I cannot do anything. They went to the Devas. Devas went to Sivaperuman. Then Sivaperuman said, let's go to Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu said, I will take care of it. So he came down impersonating Shankachuda to Brinda's palace. And as always, Shankachuda was out destroying some villages. Seeing Shankachuda here, even though he was impersonated, Brinda immediately comes running and hugs him. And as soon as she hugs him, the chastity and purity that was protecting her husband were compromised. So Sivaperuman killed him there. And the real Shankachuda's head came rolling and fell at Brinda's feet. Knowing now that she had been duped, she turned on the impostor and she cursed him. she said, you do not know the finer feelings of love and affection between a husband and wife. So you will be born as a stone without any feeling. And so she cursed him to become the Saligramam. Then Brinda entered the funeral pyre, and from her ashes, the Tulasi plant emerged. At that time, Mahavishnu came there, and he said, I was the one who impersonated Shankachoda. He was the head cowherd in Gokulam, but because of a curse, he was born as an Asura. Now he has gone to Goloka. He has attained salvation. I will marry you, he says. I will marry you in the plant form. And I will marry you as a Saligramam. In the plant form, I will marry you. So this is how Tulasi came into being. He also gives her a boon. He says the whole world will respect you and revere you. He says, the ashes from your body will form the river Ghandaki in Nepal. And that's where I will reside as Saligramam, he says. From the ashes of your hair, the plant has come. And the Tulasi leaves that you're going to bear will be worshipped and will be used in worship of me throughout. That is the boon he gives. And this is mentioned also in the Padma Puranam. Bhagavan tells her, in your roots, all the sacred tirthas will reside. That's how sacred you're going to be. All the sacred tirthas will be at your roots. In your branches, all the devatas will reside. And on your crown, all the Vedas will reside. So now you can understand the sanctity of the Tulasi plant. So this is referred to in the Padma Puranam again. Yen mule sarvatirthani, yen mule sarvatirthani, yen madhye sarvadevata, yen madhye sarvadevata, yada agre sarvavedasya, yada agre sarvavedasya tulasim tam namamyaham. I bow to that Tulasi. This is in the Padma Puranam. I bow to that Tulasi, at whose base and roots will be all the holy places, in whose branches all the devatas will reside, and on whose crown all the Vedas will reside. Charanayogam buluna dulaku paramavaihi kuntamata. Charanayogam buluna dulaku paramavaihi kuntamata. Sarasi jakshini madhyamu sakala suravasa mata. Sarasi jakshini madhyamu sakala suravasa mata. Shiramuna naigama kotulu velayujulna rata. Shiramuna నైగమ కోటులు వెలయుచున్నారట సరసత్యాగ రాజాది వరభక్తులు పాడేరట తులసి జగత్ జననీ. Tulasi Jagat Janani, here he is describing the goddess. Tulasi Jagat Janani Charanayugambulu Nadulaku Paramavaikunthamata. At your feet, Devi, all the holy rivers find their Vaikuntham. Anga Puranathla enna sollithu, at your base all the holy tirthas will be there. Okay. He says all the rivers, holy rivers will find Vaikuntham at your feet. Sarasijakshi ni madhyamu sakala sura vasamata. Surargal, devargal. Vasamata, they will reside. They will reside in the middle portion. Shiramuna naigama kotulu velayuchunnarata. On your crown, Shiramuna, all the Vedas will reside. And this is how he has drawn from the Padma Puranam to when he composed this particular song. Now, according to the Padma Puranam, Saligramam and Tulasi Devi, the plant, were married in the month of Kartihai, on Dwadasi, just before Paurnami. This wedding is said to have taken place on this date. And every year it is celebrated. Every year Tulasi Kalyanam or Tulasi Vivaham is celebrated, particularly in Karnataka, in many parts of South India actually. And it is a celebration of the wedding of Vishnu in the Saligramam form and Tulasi Devi in the plant form. It is the divine union of the two. What happens is the courtyard is decorated. This is a big ceremony. Courtyard is decorated, Tulasi plant is kept in the middle. All kinds of rangoli, kunkumam, haldi. The plant is draped in a yellow or a red saree. Jewelry is hung from the branches of the plant. Flowers are hung. And beautiful lights are hung. Lamps are lit with thousands and thousands of wicks. Bhagavan is brought there either in the Saligramam form or the Amla, Nellikai, because he is said to reside in that also. And if neither is available, people also keep a picture of Mahavishnu. He is dressed like a groom, she is dressed like a bride. Priests come. Wedding songs are sung. All the wedding rituals are done. Some people even buy a Mangal Sutra. Priests chant all the Vedic mantras and the wedding is celebrated. A wedding feast is made. There is a spiritual significance to this. It is the union of the Jivatma and the Paramatma. And there is another reason this is done. It is because it reinforces the presence of divinity every day in our own homes in the form of Tulasi Devi. For us, she is just a plant, but that's not the case. Tulasi Devi is Sakshat Mahalakshmi who comes and stays in our homes. And that is the reverence with which we should be worshipping her. People worship Tulasi Devi every day. They do Rangoli and then they do the Deepam and all that. And that is the reason for this. Now, Purandaradasar, I said he had composed some 23 songs on Tulasi Devi. He has also composed Suladis, Oga Bogas on Tulasi Devi. For him, many of his songs, though simple in language, held a very deep philosophical meaning. And he also sang about many of the social issues, social causes, and questioned the existing societal norms at his time, during his time, questioned equality, questioned compassion, spiritual values, inclusivity. These are many of the subjects that he has referred to in his compositions. He has also composed many songs on socio-cultural celebrations. So he has composed a song on Tulasi Kalyanam, describing how it is performed. Kalyanam, Tulasi Kalyanam, Kalyanam, Tulasi Kalyanam, Kalyanava Nauma Krishna Shri Tulasige Kalyanava Nauma Krishna Shri Tulasige Ballige Shri Vasudevaniga Kalyanam Tulasi Kalyanam ಅಂಗಳದೊಳಗೆಲ್ಲ ತುಳಸಿಯ ವನ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂಗಳದೊಳಗಲ್ಲ ತುಳಸಿಯ ವನ ಮಾಡಿ ಶೃಂಗಾರವ ಮಾಡಿ ಶೀಘ್ರದಿಂದ ಅಂಗಳದೊಳಗೆಲ್ಲ ತುಳಸಿಯ ವನ ಮಾಡಿ ಶೃಂಗಾರವ ಮಾಡಿ ಶೀಘ್ರದಿಂದ ಕಣ್ಗಳ ಪಾಪವ ಪರಿಹರಿಸುವ ಮುದ್ದು ಕಣ್ಗಳ ಪಾಪವ ಪರಿಹರಿಸುವ ಮುದ್ದು ರಂಗಬಂಧಲ್ಲಿತ ನೆಲೆಸಿದನು ಕಲ್ಯಾಣಂ ತುಳಸಿ ಕಲ್ಯಾಣಂ ಭಕ್ಷ್ಯ ಭೋಜಂಗಳ ನೈವೇದ್ಯವ ನೀಟೋ ಭಕ್ಷ್ಯ ಭೋಜಂಗಳ ನೈವೇದ್ಯವ ನೀಟೋ ಲಕ್ಷ ಬಟ್ಟಿಯ ದೀಪವ ಹಚ್ಚಿ ಭಕ್ಷ್ಯ ಭೋಜಂಗಳ ನೈವೇದ್ಯವ ನೀಟೋ ಲಕ್ಷ ಬಟ್ಟಿಯ ದೀಪವ ಹಚ್ಚಿ ಅಧೋಕ್ಷಜ ಸಹಿತ ವೃಂದವನ ಪೂಜಿಸೆ ಅಧೋಕ್ಷಜ ಸಹಿತ ವೃಂದವನ ಪೂಜಿಸೆ ಸಾಕ್ಷಾತ್ ಮೋಕ್ಷವ ಕೊಡುತಿಗಳು ಸಾಕ್ಷಾತ್ ಮೋಕ್ಷವ ಕೊಡುತಿಗಳು ಕಲ್ಯಾಣಂ ತುಳಸಿ ಕಲ್ಯಾಣಂ ಉದ್ಧಾನ ದ್ವಾದಶಿ ದಿವಸದಿಂದಲೇ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಉದ್ಧಾನ ದ್ವಾದಶಿ ದಿವಸದಿಂದಲೇ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಉತ್ತಮ ತುಳಸಿಗೆ ವಿವಾಹ ಚಿತ್ತ ನಿರ್ಮಲರಾಗಿ ಮಾಡಿದವರಿಗೆ ಚಿತ್ತ ನಿರ್ಮಲರಾಗಿ ಮಾಡಿದವರಿಗೆ ಉತ್ತಮ ಗತಿಯಿವ ಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲ ಉತ್ತಮ ಗತಿಯಿವ ಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲ ಕಲ್ಯಾಣಂ ತುಳಸಿ ಕಲ್ಯಾಣಂ ಕಲ್ಯಾಣಂ ತುಳಸಿ ಕಲ್ಯಾಣಂ ಕಲ್ಯಾಣವ ನಮ್ಮ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಶ್ರೀ ತುಳಸಿಗೆ ಬಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಶ್ರೀ ವಾಸುದೇವನಿಗೆ. An auspicious wedding is taking place, he says. This wedding is for our Krishna and the revered Tulasi Devi. ಅಂಗಳದೊಳಗೆಲ್ಲ ತುಳಸಿಯ ವನ ಮಾಡಿ ಶೃಂಗಾರವ ಮಾಡಿ ಶೀಘ್ರದಿಂದ. Tulasi Devi is kept there in the courtyard. She is beautifully decorated. And the beautiful Lord, who absolves all the sins with just his eyes, has also arrived and taken his place as the groom. ಭಕ್ಷ್ಯ ಭೋಜ್ಯಂಗಳ ನೈವೇದ್ಯವನ್ನಿಟ್ಟು ಲಕ್ಷಬಟ್ಟಿಯ ದೀಪವ ಹಚ್ಚಿ. Bhakshanam, all the wedding feast has been prepared. And lamps with lakshabatiya deepava hachchi. Thousands and thousands of wicks have been put in these lamps, and the wedding celebration is going to take place. Uddhana Dwadasi. This celebration is also referred to as Uddhana Dwadasi. Divasadindali Krishna Uttama Tulasige Vivaha. This is the day of the sacred wedding ceremony of Krishna and Tulasi. ಚಿತ್ತ ನಿರ್ಮಲರಾಗಿ ಮಾಡಿದವರಿಗೆ ಉತ್ತಮ ಗತಿಯಿವ ಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲನ. With a pure heart, ಚಿತ್ತ ನಿರ್ಮಲರಾಗಿ. With a pure heart, if you perform this wedding ceremony, Purandara Vittala says you are assured of the highest level of salvation. That is how beautifully he has described this wedding. Now this wedding has been described in the Padma Puranam. All the songs that we saw so far, every one of them has its roots in the Puranas. So it is the basis for all these songs. And what is interesting is, with very little information available, so many wonderful songs have been given to us by our composers that help us understand and experience Tulasi Devi better than, what we think of her as a plant. She is a lot more than that. So with this auspicious wedding, I will sing a Mangalam composed by Purandaradasar on Devi Tulasi. ಮಂಗಳ ಶ್ರೀ ತುಳಸಿ ದೇವಿಗೆ ಮಂಗಳ ವೃಂದಾವನ ದೇವಿಗೆ ಮಂಗಳ ತುಳಸಿ ಶ್ರೀದೇವಿಗೆ ಮಂಗಳ ವೃಂದಾವನ ದೇವಿಗೆ ಸರಸಿ ಜನಾಭನ ಸಲಿಗೆಯ ರಾಣಿಗೆ ಸರಸಿ ಜನಾಭನ ಸಲಿಗೆಯ ರಾಣಿಗೆ ಶರಣ ಜನರ ಪೊರೆವ ಸದ್ಗುಣಿಗೆ ಸರಸಿ ಜನಾಭನ ಸಲಿಗೆಯ ರಾಣಿಗೆ ಶರಣ ಜನರ ಪೊರೆವ ಸದ್ಗುಣಿಗೆ ತಿರುಪತಿ ನಿಲಯ ಶ್ರೀ ಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲನ ತಿರುಪತಿ ನಿಲಯ ಶ್ರೀ ಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲನ ಚರಣ ಸೇವಗಳಾದ ಚಿನ್ಮಯಿಗೆ ಚರಣ ಸೇವಗಳಾದ ಚಿನ್ಮಯಿಗೆ ಮಂಗಳ ಶ್ರೀ ತುಳಸಿ ದೇವಿಗೆ ಮಂಗಳ ವೃಂದಾವನ ದೇವಿಗೆ ಮಂಗಳಂ ಮಂಗಳಂ ಮಂಗಳಂ.
We just had a wonderful lecture demonstration, almost a doctoral thesis on Tulasi. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
I would like to thank Sri Thyaga Brahmagana Sabha, Mr. Chandrasekhar and Mr. Srinivasan for giving me this opportunity. Through this, I learnt a lot. So, thank you.
So our next program will be on 14th June. Ranjani Hariharan talking on music as a therapy. Please do come. Thank you.